PowerPlayChess, brought to you in association with Kagi. White to play and win. This is a game from the Olympiad in the match between Estonia and Montenegro. Kulaots against Denis Kadric. So that's the position, white to play and win. I'm actually tempted to go through right from the beginning. It's a very interesting game. Just very quickly, without pausing too much. So, standard Petrov. Main line. And in fact, this line with knight d2 has become very popular over the past, 3 or 4 years. Lots of exchanges. You can see we've got a symmetrical pawn structure. But white is just that bit better, in spite of the exchanges, in spite of the sort of very flat nature of the position. Because the rook is on the open file. The queen is on an active square, looking in both directions actually. So white has just a tiny positional advantage. And this has actually been played in dozens of games, this exact position. And you can see white is first to double rooks on the open file, but black plays bishop d8. So that pawn was under fire. So that's why the bishop stepped back. Otherwise, white would win a pawn on c7 after a huge exchange. h4. This is dangerous. You know, white is gaining territory on the king side. I mean, I think it's obvious that white has a little initiative here. But then again, if black can survive, then it's a very dry position in terms of the structure, so it should be a draw. But watch what happens. I should mention that both players have played this exact variation before. So they obviously knew that going into this and were prepared to battle it out. So yeah, you can see that the exchange on e2 doesn't actually solve black's problems, because white recaptures with the queen, and the queen and rook control the open file. But there are no good entry points. You know, it's possible to enter here with the queen, and e6 doesn't have much effect. So white tries to squeeze something out of this position. So all these pieces are well placed. There's no point in moving them. That knight is the one piece in white's position which isn't doing much. So knight b3. Now if that knight could hop in here, that would be wonderful. So therefore b6. Okay, black is holding firm. And now knight a1. Very nice. So this knight spins round in a moment. That's a nice move actually. You know, looking at the knight, which is just a little bit more vulnerable after that pawn has moved. There we go, knight c2. So this knight is going to find a better square on e3, attacking the pawn on d5. So you can see that white is actually making headway here. Black exchanges bishops. And knight e3, so this is under attack from queen and knight, and then knight e7. So black is just about holding on here. And now white plays a really tricky move, c4. So white is the first to sort of make a pawn break to try to stir things up. And, well, this is a very uncomfortable position for black. You can see the king is a little bit exposed. At the moment, a check isn't doing anything because of rook f8. But c4 just is that grit in the oyster that makes a pearl. Black took this, and now this is the puzzle position. We finally return there. White to play and win. What did white find? Knight f5, that's the killer move. And the game went, well, first of all, we'll have a look at knight takes knight. Why not knight takes knight? Because then a rook check. And queen takes pawn. That's why c4 was played. So the queen gets on this diagonal. The king is exposed. Yeah, f6 is a pretty uncomfortable move to make. King in the corner, and then queen f7 is a killer. Black gets done on the back rank. So in the game, black played queen d8. Now, if pieces are exchanged here, then of course black is absolutely fine. But there is a killer move. Rook takes knight. And here black resigned. If rook takes rook, queen d5 check. Double attack. That's the killer. If queen takes queen, knight takes with a lovely knight fork. Check. Knight takes queen, and white ends up a whole knight up, and of course that's absolutely hopeless for black. So here is where black resigned. Yeah, nothing to do. So yes, coming back to this position, c4 is a really clever move. I think the reason black took this and overlooked the tactic is because one automatically sort of recaptures or exchanges in one's head with the lesser piece, with the knight first. But yeah, rook takes knight was obviously overlooked. Lovely finish. Yeah, black shouldn't take the pawn and maybe just drop the rook back. But still, you know, white is obviously better after an exchange. Or, yeah, just taking on d5. Very smart finish. Good stuff. If you want to click through to the link on chesspuzzle.net, you'll find, apart from this puzzle, you'll find loads more puzzles to keep you amused, perhaps baffled, but to entertain you. Thanks for watching.